Last season, we received thousands of complaints. Thousands. The most common issue? Cabin noise. People book their dream vacation, pay good money, and then can't sleep at night. Why? Nobody told them their cabin is next to the elevator shaft. Nobody mentioned it sits below the nightclub. Nobody explained their balcony is above the ship's propellers. I've been working on cruise ships for years, and I can tell you, certain cabin locations should come with a warning label, but they don't. The reservation system shows a deck number and cabin category. Looks good, price seems fair, you click confirm. Then you board and discover reality. 3 weeks ago, a couple told me they'd saved 2 years for this cruise. By day 3, they looked exhausted. Their cabin was below the pool deck. Every morning at 6, crew rearranges deck chairs. Heavy lounge chairs dragged across the deck, sound travels straight down. Scraping, bumping, metal on wood. 2 hours every morning. They asked to move, but the ship was full. Entire week woken at dawn. Thousands of dollars for a vacation where you can't sleep in. This happens every cruise. Most passengers don't know what to look for when booking. They see a cabin fitting their budget, maybe with a window or balcony, and book without thinking about what's around it. Location matters more than almost anything. I've seen beautiful suites become unusable because of noise. Budget inside cabins turn into peaceful retreats because they're positioned right. Price doesn't predict comfort. Position does. Let me walk you through what creates noise on a ship. Once you understand the sources, you can avoid them completely. Cruise ships operate 24 hours a day. Main engines run constantly at sea, located in lower decks toward the rear. Modern ships have sound insulation, but if your cabin is on a low deck near the aft, you'll hear a constant hum and feel vibrations. Not loud enough to damage hearing, but persistent at night when everything else is quiet. Propellers create vibration too, especially in rough seas. Guests tell me their cabin feels like it's humming. Glasses vibrate, hangers rattle. Nothing dramatic, but enough to keep light sleepers awake. Then entertainment venues. Nightclubs, piano bars, theaters, casinos. Active until 2 in the morning. If your cabin is above or below these, you'll hear it. Worst spots are cabins on the deck right above entertainment level, often where affordable cabins are. Sounds good until you're trying to sleep at 11 p.m. with a live band underneath you. Bass travels through the floor. That deep thump, thump, thump rhythm for hours. A retired teacher came to me midnight on her second night, close to tears. Cabin above the piano bar, heard every song. Ship was sold out, nowhere to move her. She spent nights on a library sofa trying to rest. Casinos bring problems beyond noise. Many lines allow smoking only in casinos. Ventilation tries containing it, but isn't perfect. Cabins near casinos or above them might smell smoke. Casinos are noisy too. Slot machines, people talking, dealers calling cards. Sound carries into nearby hallways and cabins. Elevators and stairwells. People gather there, chat while waiting. Some ships have a chime every time an elevator arrives. Dozens of times an hour. Right next to an elevator shaft, you hear that all day and night. Plus, mechanical sounds of elevators moving. Not terribly loud, but constant. Stairwells see traffic at all hours, especially after shows or when bars close. Doors opening, footsteps, echoing conversations. Check deck plans carefully before booking. Next to elevator or stairwell usually means disturbance. Crew areas matter too. Crew moves around ships at all hours doing their jobs. Crew corridors, crew staircases, service areas. Sometimes passenger cabins sit right next to these zones. Crew isn't intentionally loud, but they're working. Pushing carts, moving supplies, having quick conversations. Doors to crew areas open and close constantly. That's reality on a ship operating around the clock. If your cabin is adjacent to a crew stairwell or service corridor, you'll hear more activity than expected. Laundry facilities are surprisingly noisy. Some ships have self-service laundry rooms on passenger decks. Washing machines and dryers running at all hours because guests do laundry whenever convenient. Right next door to laundry means hearing machines running, water filling, dryers tumbling. A couple I knew had a cabin sharing a wall with laundry. Said it sounded like construction next door. Felt vibrations from machines through the wall. Made it hard to relax in their cabin during the day. All-night dining venues create problems. Modern cruise ships have cafes or buffets open 24 hours. Great for late-night snacks, but if your cabin is nearby, you deal with constant foot traffic. People coming and going at 3 in the morning, conversations in hallways, room service carts rolling past. Disrupts sleep. Dining areas themselves are noisy. Kitchen sounds, dishes clanking, staff restocking buffet stations, elevated background noise that doesn't quit. The bow has its own challenges. When ships drop anchor in morning at tender ports, the anchor chain makes noise. A lot of noise. Huge metal chain releasing through the hull. Most noticeable in cabins near the very front on lower decks. If you're sailing an itinerary with multiple tender ports, you could be woken early every port day by that anchor sound. Distinct metallic clanking and grinding. Lasts several minutes. Once you're awake, you're awake. Plus the bow experiences more motion in rough seas. Front pitches up and down more dramatically than middle or back. If you're prone to seasickness, bow cabins make that worse. Connecting cabins surprise people. These have doors between them, so families can move between rooms easily. Book both cabins, great. But if you only book one side with strangers on the other, you have a problem. That connecting door isn't as soundproof as main walls, like having a thin door between you and strangers. You'll hear their conversations, TV, movement. They'll hear you too. Privacy disappears. Multiple complaints about this over the years. People book single cabins, don't realize it's connecting, end up hearing everything from neighboring room. Some ships have promenade view or Central Park view cabins. Large windows looking inward toward public spaces rather than outward at ocean. Promenade view faces main indoor walkway with shops and bars. Central Park view faces open air garden in middle of ship. Windows aren't soundproof, designed to let light in and give views, but don't block sound well. Event happening on promenade. Live music in Central Park. People walking by talking. You hear it in your cabin. Almost like having window open. Pool deck cabins seem fine. Pool closes at night, should be quiet. But pool deck has chairs, tables, hot tubs, bar areas. Early morning before most guests awake, deck crew sets up for the day, moving dozens of heavy chairs across deck. Noise travels directly down into cabins below. Scraping, bumping, metal furniture being dragged. Can start at 6 in the morning. If you like sleeping until 8 or 9, that won't work. Happens every single day. Deck crew preparing area for guests is part of their job. But if you're in cabin right under that activity, it wakes you up. So where should you book for peace and quiet? First, look for cabins surrounded by other cabins. Buffer zone of guest rooms above, below, and on either side. Guest cabins tend to be quieter than public spaces, crew areas, or mechanical spaces. If everyone around you is trying to sleep, noise level drops significantly. Second, book somewhere in middle of ship, both vertically and horizontally. Not too high, not too low. Not all the way forward, not all the way aft. Middle sections tend to be most stable and least affected by engine noise or motion. Third, avoid cabins directly adjacent to elevators, stairwells, or unlabeled spaces on deck plans. Blank area without cabin number usually means crew space, mechanical room, or service area. You don't want to be next to that. Fourth, check what's directly above and below your cabin. Theater above you or nightclub below you means find different cabin. Deck plans are available on every cruise line's website. Take time to study them. Zoom in. Look at surrounding areas. Think about what activities happen in those spaces and at what hours. If you end up in noisy cabin despite best efforts, what can you do? Talk to cabin steward right away. Sometimes noise comes from something simple, like loose hangers or rattling vent. They can fix small issues quickly. If noise comes from outside cabin or structural source like engine or nearby venue, go to guest services. Explain problem calmly and clearly. Ask about possibility of moving to different cabin. If ship is fully booked, they probably can't move you. Cruise ships sail at near capacity these days. But doesn't hurt to ask. Sometimes there's last-minute cancellation or someone gets upgraded. If you can't move, ask what else they can do. Maybe onboard credit as compensation. Maybe maintenance check for mechanical issues. Don't expect miracles, but don't suffer in silence either. Experienced cruisers bring their own solutions. Earplugs, white noise machines, small fans to create background sound masking other noises. These make real difference with moderate noise issues. If you're light sleeper, pack these items just in case. Even if you think you've booked perfect cabin, good to have backup plan. You never know if you'll have noisy neighbors or construction happening on ship. Don't choose guaranteed cabin if you care about location. Guaranteed cabin means you book category, but let cruise line assign specific cabin number closer to sail date. Benefit is lower price. Risk is cruise line assigns whatever cabins are left over. Leftover cabins are usually less desirable ones. Near elevators, near crew areas, above theater, below pool deck. That's why they're still available. If you're on tight budget and truly don't care where you sleep, guarantee saves money. But if good night's sleep matters, pay little extra and pick exact cabin. Worth it. Worth. I've seen this issue ruin vacations. People bored excited after looking forward to trip for months or years. Then they're stuck in cabin where they can't sleep. Affects entire experience. Tired during day. Irritable. Don't enjoy ports because exhausted. Often nothing can be done mid-cruise to fix it. That's the frustrating part. Once you're on ship and it's full, options are extremely limited. Prevention is easier than solving problem after the fact. Before you book next cruise, spend time studying deck plans. Read reviews from other passengers who stayed in specific cabins. Online forums where people share detailed experiences about individual cabin numbers. They tell you if cabin is noisy, near something disruptive, has any quirks. This information is out there. Take time to look for it. Think about your own sleep habits. Can you sleep through anything? Maybe none of this matters and you can book whatever's cheapest. But if you need quiet to sleep well, or traveling with young children needing naps, or paying a lot of money wanting relaxation, then location becomes critical. Don't just look at pictures of cabin. Look at where it sits on ship. Not all cabins are created equal. Some are genuinely better than others, even within same price category. 2 inside cabins on same deck might cost same amount, but one could be in quiet corridor surrounded by other guest rooms, while other is sandwiched between elevator and crew stairwell. Difference in your experience will be huge. This is information cruise lines won't volunteer during booking process. They want to sell every cabin. They're not going to tell you certain locations have inherent challenges. That's why it's on you to do research and make informed choice. Let me be clear. I'm not trying to scare you away from cruising. I love this industry. Seen so many people have incredible vacations on ships, but also seen people have miserable experiences because of something as simple as cabin location. And it didn't have to be that way. Little bit of knowledge goes a long way. Understanding where noise comes from and how to avoid it can transform your cruise from mediocre to amazing. You're investing your time and money into this experience. You deserve to get it right. Here's what to take away. 9 main things create noise on cruise ships. Entertainment venues like nightclubs and theaters, mechanical areas like engine rooms and propeller zones, elevator banks and stairwells, crew corridors and service areas, laundry facilities, all-night dining venues, pool deck and outdoor activity spaces, anchor operations near bow, and cabins with poor sound insulation like connecting cabins or promenade view rooms. If you can avoid cabins near these 9 sources, you're setting yourself up for much more restful cruise. Use deck plans. Read reviews. Ask questions before you book. If not sure, Reach out to cruise line directly or work with travel agent who knows ships well. They can guide you toward quieter sections. Think about what matters most to you in cabin. View question mark size, price, location. For some people, having balcony is non-negotiable, even if it means dealing with bit more noise. For others, quiet inside cabin and perfect location is better than noisy balcony. No right or wrong answer. It's about knowing your priorities and making choice that aligns with them. Just don't leave it to chance. Don't book blindly and hope for best. Take control of decision. I'll leave you with 2 questions. First, what's one area of ship you'll now make sure to avoid when booking your next cabin? Second, have you ever stayed in noisy cruise cabin? If you have, drop comment and share your experience. Let other people know what to watch out for. The more we share information with each other, better equipped we all are to make smart choices. If you found this useful, consider subscribing so you don't miss future videos where I share more insider knowledge about cruising. And if you know someone planning a cruise, send this their way. Help them avoid mistakes that thousands of others have made. Safe travels, and may your next cabin be quiet and peaceful.